I'll tell you this, dude. I'll tell you this. I'm not being a hater. I'm not being some sort of Debbie Downer. I don't think it breaks 2 million pay-per-view buys.
You might be right.
I'm not seeing it, man. Like when Conor fought Floyd, or when Conor Nate Diaz too, I couldn't go anywhere
without
Starbucks, anywhere, shoe store, where car dealer, everyone, dude, Conor Floyd, who you got, man? Everybody and their mom. Now, very rare. Maybe at one of my shows someone will bring it up, but
there's something that Conor didn't want to do for this fight, and that's massive promotion.
Yeah, but so does that mean it's not as big? Like, who's that falling? Is that Conor or the UFC?
It's Conor.
It's both.
He doesn't want to do it. Well, the UFC has a model, right? And it worked in the Jose Aldo fight. That model is you just promote the holy fuck out of a fight. You travel the world. You promote the shit out of it. You scream at each other at press conferences. You do all that stuff for months and months and months, and those things sell like crazy.
If it's Conor McGregor.
If it's Conor McGregor.
So,
well, who have they ever done it with besides Conor McGregor like that?
No one really sells like that. They, a little bit with Ronda, I guess, but she didn't have the same kind of chops as Conor. So Conor's the only one, but I don't know. Maybe it's because he had a layoff. Maybe it's after the Floyd thing. I think it does well. I don't think it breaks Conor versus Nate too. Well, I don't think it breaks 1.6 million.
What I think happened was Conor made $100 million, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna train."
You know what I think? I think there's that, and it also goes, that took so much energy to do all that, and everyone knows me as that guy. I have the toughest fight of my life coming up. I'm taking every precaution necessary not to overtrain, not to use all my energy. I'm in the fight of my life, and I'm going to train like it. I'm shutting down everything. You can post the fucking me throwing the dolly through the window 1,000 times. I'll do the press conference on Thursday. Other than that, man, I have got to get ready for the fight of my life. That's the way I'm looking at it.
I think you're right, and I think this is the fight of his life. I think stylistically, it's a nightmare matchup.
I think it's a nightmare matchup for both of them. I think anyone who goes, oh, Conor, he can't wrestle, he can't do this, he's just going to get taken down and pounded out. You're so off, it's not even funny. You don't know the game, man.
He absolutely is capable of stuffing a takedown or two in the early going. That's what's up. Because in the early going, he's got that stinger of a left hand.
His movement, his
footwork, and Khabib is going to know that coming in. He's going to be a little hesitant. He's not going to walk towards him like Edson Barboza did, or he did in the Edson Barboza fight.
You can't.
Because Barboza is mostly kicks. Barboza throws a lot of kicks, a lot of Thai-style kicks, and Khabib just put a tremendous amount of pressure on him and then got a hold of him. But Conor's going to crack him with hands, and his footwork is way better.
Yes.
He's just way better at moving in and moving out.
I think when people go, it's either Conor starches him and gets the KO, or Khabib just takes him down for 5 rounds and pounds him out. I think it's a classic fight. I think it's back and forth. I think it's a fucking dog fight. Yeah. I think it's a fight of our lives, man. I really do.
I think you're probably right.
I think you're getting a fucking great fight from two guys where there's more on the line than just win or lose. I think with Khabib and what he represents, and talking to his team captain, Josh Thompson, he goes, Khabib's going to retire after this.
Really?
He wants to beat Conor and retire.
Really?
He wants to retire like the Floyd Mayweather of MMA, 27-0, beat the UFC's poster boy, and he walks off in the sunset. Unless they get him a super fight with GSP or something, he's done.
Really? Wow. That's shocking. He's young.
Very shocking. But think how long he's been doing this.
Yeah.
Since he's 4, he's been fucking up grizzly bears. So he's like, all right, I'm over this, man. And not to mention, he lives with his family, man. He still lives with his mom and dad, his wife, and his 2 kids, same house.
Wow.
That's what kind of monster you're dealing with. And then for Conor, I think it's a legacy fight where, he's coming off the Floyd Mayweather kind of train there where, it was a success either way you look at it. He made $100 million, and he competed against the best of all time and lasted more rounds than anyone thought, and trained for a complete boxing match, so his striking's going to be better going this fight. But for him, it's not about the money. You see him, the one interview he's done on Mac Life, you can see it. It's a vintage Conor. We go, oh, shit, we got one here, man. This isn't, the Floyd Mayweather's more of a show. Like, we didn't think he was going to win that. This one, you look at, oh, shit, that's vintage Conor. This motherfucker's coming to fight. And he might get taken down. Yes, I guarantee you he gets taken down. That motherfucker's going to get back up. He's going to get up. He's going to keep getting up. And Khabib's going to keep coming. And we got a dog fight, man. I think both guys are going to be fucked up after this fight, and it's going to be a classic.
It could be. Or
fast forward, fucking just Khabib gets starched in 7 seconds.
It
People
could
are
be
just
that,
playing
too.
this on a loop. Just playing this on a loop.
Look, Khabib's got to get through the fire. You know, he's got to get through the fire in the early going. He's got to close that distance, and he's got to do it with precision without letting his nerves affect him, right? I mean, he's got all the shit talking Conor's done to him. He's seen him rattled at the press conference.
He's rattled. When you start talking about his dad, he's rattled. And I think we've also never seen Khabib fight with high stakes.
Right.
Like when he fought Al Iaquinta, that wasn't high stakes. Al's an amazing fighter, but that's not the same as fighting Conor McGregor.
Right.
When he's fighting Edson Barboza, that's not high stakes. When you're fighting Conor McGregor, Conor takes all the chips on that poker table, puts it all in the middle, goes, I'm all in. You have to be all in. I do well under these circumstances. How do you respond?
Yeah.
So we've never seen Khabib, and everyone goes, "Oh, his cardio's great." It is great, but when the fucking that Irish nation is rocking that fucking arena, and there's all this pressure, his heart rate's gonna go up, and he's gonna be like, "God, I fucking hate this guy." Khabib's never fought a guy who he hates. He hates Conor.
Yep.
How is he gonna be overzealous and open himself up?
Yep.
There has to be something there, and we
Like
don't
Aldo.
know exactly. Like
Aldo was an assassin until that fight.
completely
People
one of the
forget.
best of all time.
Yeah, still is. But that fight exposed how good Conor's psychological game is, because months and months of being on tour with Conor, those press conferences, Conor stealing his belt and screaming at him and getting in his face, and then starches him with one punch. Oh,
Amazing. But what else is interesting is, remember, Conor is an amazing counter puncher. Well, to be an amazing counter puncher, you need a guy to punch at you. Mm-hmm. Khabib's not going to punch at him.
right.
Unless it becomes an ego thing like he did with Al or Edson Barboza, where you just walk him down, there's no respect. He might throw some punches, so it's going to be interesting for Conor to find those angles when a guy's not playing the game.
Well, it's also Khabib has had a history of struggling to make weight. He cannot struggle to make weight for this fight. He's got to be on point.
He came in that press conference at 174. They said this motherfucker started camp at 180-something. Like, he's never been more serious for a fight.
Which, for people listening, if you're saying, like, well, but he fights at 155, he used to weigh 200.
200, yeah.
Yeah, and then get down to 155, and it was not good. I mean, the Michael Johnson fight, he struggled. He had, like, some real shutdown issues. And then the Tony Ferguson fight, they pulled him out of the fight. He can't have any of that nonsense this weekend.
Oh, no. I don't think we
weekend's
will.
gotta be on point.
The nonsense, the only thing where, like, Jamie Tony's going to the fight, I would never go to this fight. I think there's...
What?
I would not go this fight for this reason. I'm a complete
What?
pussy. I think something's going to happen in the crowd between the Russians and the Irish. I think that
Why do you think that?
just the animosity between the two. They hate each other so bad. If this fight happens for Conor, you're going to have upset Russians. If it happens for Khabib, you're going to have upset fucking Irish. I think it's gotten bigger than just a UFC fight.
Really?
I do, man.
So you don't-
It's so hostile.
You think you wouldn't go to this fight because the potential the violence breaks out?
Correct. I also don't like going to UFC
Wow.
fights. I also don't like going to UFC fights.
Why
but
don't you like it? Because you used to fight?
yeah, it's just stressful for me. It's just super stressful for
Do
me.
you feel like you're going to fight again when you're
Yeah,
there?
I get the nerves, and I'm just like, oh God. I go complete opposite of that now. I try to get more relaxed. When I'm doing stand-ups, I go.
Right.
I don't want to be in that scared mode anymore.
Yeah, that's interesting.
My heart rate, I'm just sweating the whole time. I'm just like around, like sweating. I look like shit.
Pull up that card. Let me see the rest of the card.
Dude, if you're Tony Ferguson, it's like, oh yeah, and Tony's fighting.
Right. I know, and he's fighting Pettis.
It's not an easy fight for a comeback fight for Tony.
I mean, I'm just amazed that he's able to fight again so quickly after knee surgery.
You know what's interesting to me is I asked Josh Thompson, who knows Khabib, and obviously you can talk to DC about it, but I go, dude, Tony's back. Like, if Khabib were to win, he'd fight Tony, right? And he goes, no interest. That fight does nothing to him mentally. He just doesn't care about it. I'm like,
Khabib just doesn't care.
yeah, he's like, not with Tony.
So he really just wants to fight Conor and then get out.
Get out. Wants
or
to
fight GSP.
beat from Josh Thompson's mouth, from Khabib. He wants to beat the UFC's poster boy, Dana's poster boy, and walk the fuck out. Unless they give him a super fight.
Who the fuck has ever been 26-0 as a champion?
Now,
I think that's the only one.
Yeah, but 26-0 for sure. He's fucking.
Who else has been an
fighting
undefeated
Dagestanis.
champion?
Undefeated champion? Well,
John Jones.
Conor was
But
undefeated.
John Jones,
well,
did
no,
he fight
didn't.
Matt Hamill before he won the
Yeah,
title?
he fought Matt Hamill on the Ultimate
That's
Fighter. Roy Nelson, Brendan
No,
Schaub.
it wasn't the Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah, it was the Ultimate Fighter finale. Because I fought Roy Nelson, John Jones fought Matt Hamill.
Right, not on the Ultimate Fighter.
No, you know when they do the finale.
Yeah. That's a bullshit loss, though.
Oh my God, you got a loss from whooping a dude's ass
Yeah,
so
he
bad. They're like,
smashed
you know what? As far as undefeated champions,
Who? I don't think there's one.
Henan Brow.
Oh, he won, but he lost his first fight.
Yeah,
Henan Barrow lost his
but he was
first ever
undefeated.
UFC
Right?
fight.
I don't know. He was like he had like 30 wins in a row or some shit,
Right.
but had a weird loss back in Brazil.
Yeah, he lost his first MMA fight, rather.
Ronda.
Yeah, Ronda.
Ronda was undefeated.
Undefeated.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, Ronda's only 2 losses were the 2 title fights between Holly and Amanda. Let's see. What do you got there, Jamie? What are you pulling up?
List of undefeated MMA champions.
Ben Askren hanging around.
Yeah, Ben Askren's
Brian
for
Ortega.
sure one of them. But Ben Askren, to me, and I've had him on the podcast. I've said this 100
I know.
times.
I love the guy.
He's Brian Ortega. But Brian Ortega isn't really a champion.
Well, these aren't champions, are they? These just undefeated MMA fighters. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Yeah. These
Yeah.
aren't champions. Ben's the one guy who I'd love to see come out of retirement and fight Khabib.
He's the one guy that's my biggest disappointment that guy never fought in the UFC.
Agreed. It's a fucking shame.
But the thing is, like, Khabib wouldn't fight. I'm like, nobody knows who he is outside of the hardcore guys like
No,
you
why
or
would you fight
myself.
him?
Why would you fight
him?
and maybe lose? Maybe get out wrestled.
Here's the only, if you're going to say something about Khabib, he's 27-0. He really, when you look at the body of work from Conor compared to Khabib, it's not even close. The wins that Conor has are remarkable.
Yes.
You look at the Max Holloway, Chad Mendes, Jose Aldo.
What he did to Eddie Alvarez.
I mean, ridiculous.
That was ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Then Nate Diaz win, Nate Diaz lost. Like, you just look at the caliber of opponents that he's faced from a very young age. It's a nightmare. Then you look at Khabib. He's 27-0. His biggest win's probably Barboza. Dos Anjos when he was a little weathered, but
Yeah.
you know. But Barboza is a perfect stylistic matchup for him. So
Yeah.
we don't know with Khabib. We know he's damn good, but how good?
He's had one weird moment in his entire career. That's against Michael Johnson when Michael Johnson cracked him. Wobbled him for a second, and then he took him down and smashed him.
The Gleason
T-Bow?
fight got a little dicey too.
Did it?
Yeah.
Oh, boy, I don't remember that fight at all.
But with Michael Johnson, it's funny to me because Michael Johnson landed that big overhand, and people go, "Oh, Khabib has a weak chin." I'm like, well, he's never been dropped. He's never been.
Yeah, I mean,
he's never been sat on his
Michael
ass
Johnson
ever.
starched Dustin Poirier with one punch. Don't forget about that. Michael Johnson can fucking punch.
Yeah, he's explosive as shit.
Yeah, I mean, he caught Khabib, and Khabib got rocked for a second, and then weathered the storm, took him down, smashed him. It was a total dominant performance. Yeah, if you look at his performance, like you look at his resume, Pat Healy was a tough fighter.
Tough vet.
That showed. Abel Trujillo, he smashed Abel Trujillo.
Remember Abel? He took down more times than anyone inside that octagon. 21 times, I think. And he was a college wrestler.
Mm-hmm. And a strong guy, too.
Yeah.
Abel's strong as shit.
And that's Gleason T-Bow. When is that? 2012? That's the juicy
Yeah,
T-Bow.
the real big fight was the Barboza fight, and then Al Iaquinta was, I mean, as last minute gets, and he still went 5 whole rounds with Iaquinta, which was interesting for a lot of people. Like, I talked to Eddie Alvarez after that fight, and he was like, very interesting.
I love
very
Eddie.
interesting. Yeah, I was like, you saw a lot of things in that fight, huh? And he was like, yeah. He's like, once the fight got into the later rounds, and he's still standing up with guys, you're like, whoa, all right.
It's so interesting to me because when you talk to anyone from AK, obviously they're super pro Khabib, but they're like, dude, this isn't even a fight. Like this, what do you? This is one of Khabib's easier fights. He's definitely had way tougher matchups. I'm like, you're crazy, man. They're like, you should see Khabib go against Ed Ruth, who's an All-American Penn State wrestler. Like, he fucks him up. He takes him down. I'm like, what? But that's that's
wrestling.
That's that wrestling. That dance, that rhythm. Conor's not on that rhythm.
No.
You're talking about a different animal.
You're talking about a guy who is one of the best fencers in the game, meaning can like jump in with one shot and put you out. And he can do it moving back. He can do it moving forward. He can time you, and he'll be very calm in there. You will get the very best Conor McGregor.
He's also no slouch on the ground. People think he's just going to get taken down and like get crucifixed right away. You're out your goddamn mind.
Yeah.
The guy trains with Dylan Dennis. He's brought in these Dagestani wrestlers. Like, he's training with the lead of the lead. He's what Khabib's going to do.
Yeah.
It's way easier to train for Khabib than it is Conor.